The following is a presentation of IMG, America's home for college sports.
No, they're just not Paul's.
Live from Quaker Steak and Lube on US 1 in Edison, this is the Chris Ash Show. Your chance to talk with the head coach of the Scarlet Knights on the Rutgers IMG Sports Network. Tonight's show is brought to you by...
You gonna stay and watch or go?
Want me to leave and watch?
Okay. We're not on the air yet.
Oh, so
I'm talking about after
the show.
Coach, you can turn that down. That's mine.
877-384-1869. That's 877-384-1869. Now let's go live to Quaker Steak and Lube in Edison to talk Rutgers football. Here's your host, Chris Carlin.
And we are off and running on another edition of the Chris Ash Show here at Quaker Steak and Lube in Edison, New Jersey. Another phenomenal crowd on hand. We appreciate everybody coming out, and we want to give you your opportunity to talk to the coach. And you can do just that via telephone at 877-384-1869. You can also do it coming up front and talking to our man Bradley here, and we'll get you right up on the microphone and get your question on the air. Or you can tweet us your questions at Rutgers Radio and at RU Athletics. Chris Carlin alongside Eric LeGrand. E, how are you?
I'm doing awesome. How are you?
He's a little bit on pins and needles with his Yankees tonight.
A little bit.
And Coach Ash, how you doing, Coach?
I'm doing great. I'm having fun watching the Scarlet Knight here run around and have a lot of energy tonight, so keep it up.
Excellent. He was running the camera just a few minutes ago. And again, our telephone number, 877-384-1869. So let's start with a brief review of last week's game against Indiana. Coach, your team fell short 24-17. Final score against the Hoosiers, 24-7 at the half. Second half, these last 2 weeks, defensively in particular, your team has played particularly well, allowing just 7 total points in those 2 halves. But unfortunately, what happened in the first half put you in the hole you were in. When you went back and looked at the game, what did you see?
Really, it's third down. That's the difference in really the last couple games. Our inability to execute and get off the field and stop drives, take points off the board on third down has killed us. It's hurt us on both sides of the ball to be able to extend drives and get points, and it's something that we've really got to continue to work on, cleaning up and getting better at, so we can have a chance to celebrate on Saturday.
In the first quarter, Coach, it seemed like you guys had some dial-up blitzes that were confusing Indiana a little bit. Was that a game plan coming in during the week to, show some blitzes, or was that just a little mixture that you saw before the game?
Well, we always want to try to find ways to be creative and change things up from week to week to get after the quarterback on third down. And I thought we were able to do that. Unfortunately, we had a couple penalties on third down. We were playing some man-to-man and got called for a couple pass interferences on third down that extended drives that led to a touchdown. So, but we had gotten after the quarterback a little bit there in the first drive and in the first quarter, and weren't able to sustain that pressure as we went through the game, but started off good.
Certainly not because of adjustments. We've talked about how that's a little bit overrated at halftime before, but has there been a difference that you've noticed in the second half of these games for your defense?
We just go out and focus and execute the calls. That's it. I mean, we didn't make any other new calls. We didn't really do any adjustments, so to speak. Maybe a couple things here and there throughout the first half that Indiana might have done new, which every team does. But other than that, we just went out and executed our job and focused on doing it with discipline and effort, and that's the difference.
And when you play a type of quarterback like you did play, he's able to convert first downs on his feet. How hard is that, designing if you need to do a spy or try to keep the pass rushers in their lane so he can't get out the pocket?
Yeah, there's a combination of things you have to do when you've got a dual threat type of quarterback that can extend plays with his feet or scramble. And it's a combination of making sure that you have good lane integrity with your pass rush, where there are not a lot of escape lanes if you choose to spy. And sometimes pressure eliminates escape lanes also because there's fewer gaps to escape in. So there are a number of things that you try to do based off the quarterback, and it depends each week.
Once again, our telephone number, 877-384-1869. And if you're in attendance here at Quaker Steak and Lube, come on up front, and we'll get your question on the air with Coach here in just a few minutes. Art Sitkowski, last week really looked to the naked eye like he took a step forward. What did you see?
He did just that. I think he was. I think the game has slowed down for him, and I think he's a lot more comfortable. He goes through his reads and his progressions a lot more right now. He's trusting his protection. He's delivering better balls. I just think that overall, as he continues to play more, get more reps, he's more comfortable. He sees things better. He can process things better. He understands the protection better. And as he continues to go and gets more and more reps, it'll just be that much more clean for him.
And a big thing was a lot of, going into the wide receivers getting separation from the defensive backs and the tight ends. This week, it seemed like a lot of them were able to get separation, and Art was able to go to a lot of different people between Shaheem Jones, Bo Melton, even Max Anthony catching a little 7-round out the back. Coach, can you talk about that?
Yeah, you're right. We got a lot more people involved in the pass game, and it starts up front. We got to have the protection, but I do think that we've invested a lot of time on trying to help our tight ends and wide receivers, everybody try to get open against man-to-man or, understand where to sit down in zones. And I thought we were able to do that more consistently this last week than what we've been able to do previously. And as we go and we continue to focus on that and try to improve that, hopefully we continue to get the ball in a lot of different hands.
And just later in the game, like we had the other day, a 4th down situation, and unfortunately a mistake ends up costing you. And I know you just, for a young player like Mike Tvrdoff, as well as he's played, at the same time, it's a teaching moment right there.
Yeah, it's a teaching moment. It's an opportunity for him to learn. He's never been in that situation, 4th and 1, at the end of the game when they're trying to draw you offside with different cadences, hard counts, all that stuff, different rhythms by the quarterback or mannerisms by the quarterback, and then emotion. And it's unfortunate. It was in a bad situation, but it's one he's got to learn from.
I'll go back to the offensive side, Coach. And it looked like there was a little emphasis of pushing the ball down the field more this game with Bo Melton and taking the shots. Can you talk about that going into the game plan?
Yeah, we want to be able to run the ball, and we want to be able to take shots down the field. And we've tried that some this year, not as much as we'd like to. Unfortunately, we haven't connected on some of them. Some of them have been there, some of them haven't been there. But we need to be able to hit some of those shots. And it starts, again, up front. We've got to be able to run the ball and then protect the quarterback so we have time to do that. And we were able to do that better on Saturday than we had been in the previous weeks. And, again, we've got to continue to improve that, and we've got to hit some of those.
One question on Twitter coming in, Coach, and again, you can tweet us your questions at Rutgers Radio and at RU Athletics. This is from Steve. Coach Ash, have you seen improved communication on your defensive side?
Yeah, I don't think communication's really an issue. I think our linebackers, Trevor Morris and Deontay Roberts, are the quarterbacks of the defense. They've played a lot of football. They understand our scheme. They understand offenses. They know how to get us set. They know how to get us in and out of things. That's not really the problem. One of the things we've got to get more consistent at is when the ball is snapped, actually executing a call consistently with all 11 guys. But the communication overall, I've been pleased with and don't have an issue with.
Well, I'll talk about the defense now. How do you think you could dial up some more of the pressure get on the quarterback? I know it's hard when you got 3-4 guys rushing, and then if you don't have the depth to do it to get in the back end. How hard is that, as a coach, I guess, trying to scheme up different ways on how you can get pressure on the quarterback and making him feel uncomfortable that whole time?
Well, there's a lot that goes into it. We do always want to try to pressure the quarterback, but a lot of it starts with who do you have to cover, and what are you going to have to do from a coverage standpoint to be able to do that. We've mixed in man pressures, we've mixed in man-for-man rush, we've mixed in zone pressures, we've mixed in pressures with matchup cover 3. We've done a lot of different things throughout the year. It really starts with the matchups on the outside. How do you feel with your ability to cover, with their ability to get open, and then your guys that are rushing to who can get to the quarterback when you call their number.
I know you've had to make some changes just in terms of where guys are playing. Tvrdoff, for instance, shifting over on the defensive line where he has the fact that you need a little bit more depth there impacted at all how you call your defenses?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, last Saturday we had Mike Tvrdoff started at what we call our jack position. It's not the position he was recruited to play, and it's not a position he has played. But we had injuries, and we had to move him, and there were limited things that he could do. He couldn't do the whole package consistently just because he hasn't had the reps. So, personnel goes into everything that you decide to call. They need to be able to know the adjustments and be able to execute it based on what an offense does. If they can't, then you can't call it.
Now, a couple of things that have been really fantastic so far this year and really reliable your kicking game. Adam Korsak really continues to thrive in that role, and it's hard to believe that this kid never punted in a football game before this season, because he has done it so well. He has been able to place it very well. I mean, at times I've made this comment about other guys. It's like hitting a 7 or an 8 iron brilliantly to the green the way he places it sometimes.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that feels like, so
I've seen it. I haven't done it.
Yeah. But Adam has really improved. He's a true freshman out there punting. This is the first time he's ever punted in football games here this year, and it's kind of like art. He's just gotten more comfortable with the more reps and opportunities that he has. He is not necessarily a distance punter. He's a placement punter, and he is doing a great job of that right now. Last game was his best game with that, we want to be able to limit the number of return opportunities that our opponent has, and he's able to do that with the way he places the ball.
And with Justin as well. I mean, you send him out. You send a kid out there for a 52-yard field goal in that situation, which is in essence to keep you in that game. There is a lot of pressure on him. That's the most pressurized kick that he has had so far, and boy, did he respond in a big way.
Yeah, he's really gaining confidence right now in himself. And, it started last year. He was doing a great job with our kickoffs. Our kickoff coverage unit improved drastically from year 1 to year 2, and a lot of it had to do with him and his leg and his ability to again, place the kickoffs where we wanted him with the right hang time. And then he took over the place kicking duties here this year, and he's done a great job. And he just continues to get stronger and stronger and believe in himself a lot more. You can see it in practice. When we do our field goal block segments, we can go further and further out, and he's nailing them.
Yeah, you can tell that's a big confidence booster for him. I want to ask you, since you do coach the kickoff team, and with that new rule of last week we asked the special teams coach, with that new rule being able to fair catch, how do you ask him now to kick the ball? Do you want him to kick it through the end zone and just give him to him at the 25, or do you want to try to take your chance and let him, try to pin it between that 5 to 10 yard lane, even though they can just sit there and fair catch it and not return it?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's a strategy decision. A lot of it goes into just what is the situation of the game. Ideally, what we would like to do is force them to have to catch it and see if they can return it. We could pin them inside the 25-yard line and steal some field position. That's what we've been able to do. It's what we did pretty effectively last year. And when teams have made the decision to return it, we've been pretty good this year with our ability to do that. But there are times that we ask Justin, hey, just give us a touchback, kick it out, and he has the ability to do that. So I really love Justin's ability to do what we need him to do based on the situation and the game plan, and he's been pretty good at doing both. And
your kick return game, you've got Avery Young now back on punt returns, and then Isaiah Pacheco the other day we saw in kick return. How have those two young men fared, and how has it impacted those units?
Well, again, we're talking about two true freshmen. We talk about true freshman punter, got a sophomore kicker, and then as a punt returner right now, Avery Young's a freshman. He's done a really good job with some of the punt returns. Unfortunately, I had one called back with a penalty in the previous week, but he's sure-handed. He's got great hands, great confidence in his ability to go back there, and that's the number one thing of the punt returner is be able to possess the ball and get the ball back, and he can do it, and then he's got enough ability to make some plays and make some people miss. And then you've seen Raheem Blackshear, now Pacheco back there on kick returns. Isaiah's been doing a great job in practice. We put him back there last week, and I think you saw the results of his hard work and effort. He just hits the holes and goes hard. And he was really close to popping a couple big ones last week.
Yeah, I remember Coach McNulty, I think it was week 1 or week 2, really describing him as a guy that plays the game like he's on fire. Is that the kind of necessary quality that you have to have in a return man, the guy that's just not afraid to just make a quick decision and go?
Yeah, especially on a kick return, but really in punt return and kick return, the guys that usually get the best results are the ones that catch it and just go, and there's not a lot of dancing around. They see a hole and they can hit it. Next thing you know, you're on the kicker, and you got to make the guy miss. And same thing on the punt return. You just get it and you go, and you trust your blockers. You see a hole, hit it, and next thing you know, you're on the punter. But those are the great ones they have the ability to do that. Every now and then you got to make some guys miss on the punt return, but use a kick return, get it and go and get what you can.
Well, as we're talking about Pacheco, it seems like we have seen a little enhancement in his role now in the offense and the special teams. Will we continue to see that going forward, or is that more of a game plan type thing?
Well, yeah, we want to continue to play the guys that have shown the ability to give us the most production. And for whatever reason, I mean, he's a good player. When he gets in there, we have positive plays. So when somebody continues to do that, you got to find ways to get him on the field more. That's just the natural progression, and he's done that both on special teams and on offense. I think you saw last week we had a few packages with 3 running backs, on the field, and that's because when any of those guys touch the ball, something positive usually happens. So, Coach McNulty and offensive staff are doing a great job with their creativity to find ways to do that.
We'll take our first time out. Once again, our telephone number, 877-384-1869. Tweet us your questions at Rutgers Radio or at RU Athletics. And if you're with us here at Quaker Steak and Lube, get your question in for the coach. Come on up front and see our man Bradley. He's ready to get you all set up and get it in. We'll also, in just a little while, talk to Rutgers offensive lineman Jonah Jackson, who will join us in just a bit. Stay with us. We're just getting started on this week's edition of the Chris Ash Show.
Best tailgate? It's gotta be burgers. And an ice cold Coke.
Real football y pollo asado.
Hoops and wings. Dude, subs.
Nah, hot dog.
No, Dodger dog.
I'll drink to that. Pass me a Coke. It's gotta be crawfish. Mac and cheese.
No. 7-layer dip.
Ribs.
No contest.
Hummus.
What?
You need a hot grill.
An ice cold Coke.
Of course.
Football and Coke. Come on.
It's got to be Coke.
Game day? Race day.
Calls for Coke.
You know it.
It's tailgating 101.
When we take care of our own hearts, we're also taking care of the people closest to us. So it's comforting to know that RWJ Barnabas Health has New Jersey's most comprehensive cardiac care program, with access to top specialists, minimally invasive heart surgery options, and rehabilitation and wellness programs. So get your heart checked. It's as easy as visiting rwjbh.org/heart. RWJ Barnabas Health. Let's be healthy together.
The Chris Ash Show returns after this local timeout. This is the Rutgers IMG Sports Network.
Need a place to watch all the pro games? Look no further than Quaker Steak and Lube, Best Wings USA on Route 1 in Edison. 50 TVs, great game day specials starting at just $2.50, and the best wings in the USA with over 25 different wing sauces. Enjoy our outdoor patio and bar open all year round. On the way to the game and need something to go? Give us a call, 732-777-WING. We cater events of any size. Watch all the games, have a great time, and enjoy the best wings in the USA. 561 Route 1 in Edison, 732-777-WING. This is Cabell Philpott, host of the Nissan College Football Blitz. Heard every Saturday from noon until midnight Eastern on TuneIn.com and the TuneIn app. When there's a big play, a momentum change, and that possible upset happening, not only will we let you know, you'll hear the scores as they happen live. Catch all of the action as we count you down to the college football playoff. It's the Nissan College Football Blitz. Saturdays, noon until midnight Eastern on the College Sports Now channel on TuneIn.com and the TuneIn app.
All right, we're back at Quaker Steak and Lube here in Edison for this week's edition of the Chris Ash Show. Rutgers getting set to take on Illinois this coming Saturday. And, of course, the Scarlet Knights knocked off Illinois last year in a game that Rutgers won 35-24 on the road out in Champaign, a game in which they rushed for 274 yards. We'll talk more about that in just a little bit. And, of course, it is the blackout game. We'll talk about that, too, because I know the images have been out there of the blackout helmets and uniforms, and yeah, Eric's already sizing up. Where am I going to get that? Yep.
Yes.
He is not the only one. That's for sure. All right, our man Jim is here and ready to go. How are we this week, Jim?
Good. How are you guys doing?
We're doing great, Jim.
Coach, Pacheco, Blackshear, Hilleman, all three individuals have dynamic skill sets. Are we going to see all three of them on the field at the same time to give defenses a frustrating look?
Well, the opening drive of the game this last week, for the first 2 plays of the game, we had all three of those guys out there. It's a package that we need to continue to develop and increase the volume of plays that we can do with that. But we started doing that this last week, and we'll see where we can go with it. I'm not going to give away any game plan ideas right now, but we do like that package because, like you mentioned, those three guys all have skill sets that we think can be productive for us.
Are we going to see some more RPOs?
It depends. It's stuff that Coach McNulty has done in the past, and we've had conversations about them. And I think they're a very good weapon, and there's some things that they can help us offensively. We'll absolutely be doing them.
Good luck this week.
Yep, thank you.
Appreciate it, Jim. Thanks for checking in. We got our first phone call of the night at 877-384-1869. It's Big Worm. Big Worm in Burlington Township checking in for the first time this year. Big Worm, how are you?
I'm good, fellas. How you doing? What's up, Big E?
What's going on, Big Worm?
You know what the problem is? You haven't called in yet this year. That's a problem.
No, this was the plan. After 5 games, I was planning on calling in. I'm gonna be nice, but man, my son's morale was down when he comes home. What can we do to pick him up?
Well,
stay on the same message as you guys.
Getting a victory would help us all go home and feel a little bit better. To be honest with you, because when I go home, my dauber's down a little bit too.
Oh wow. Well, we want to still keep the same message as you guys. Tell them nothing different. Keep his head up. Keep working hard. It's just difficult. When you kind of used to winning. These guys come from high school winning, and they come to Rutgers. They all agree they want to rebuild with you guys, and it's not going their way. But it's just you're getting there.
Yeah, I mean it takes a lot of work to win. This obviously isn't high school anymore, and winning is very, very difficult. And there's a lot of hard work that has to go into winning. And the focus can't be on winning; it's got to be on the process and the details that it takes to get that done. And we are working hard to get there. And every day we try to improve, the areas that need our focus. And that's where we're at right now.
Okay, well, hey, I cuss more. I got some words for you, but I give them to you off the air. They'll respond to that.
All right, Big Worm, thanks for checking in.
Yes, we'll be there Sunday, man. Good luck to you. We're going to wear all our black and raise hell.
Thank you, man.
All right, but make sure you come Saturday, though. I'll tell you later. We'll see you then. We've got a question, young lady right up here. Ma'am, what's your name? Where are you from?
Hi, Marie from
Hey, Marie.
Freehold.
How are you?
Back again. My question
Welcome.
is, thank you.
I did give you a hug today.
Yes, you did. No grudges held. Yes, I agree. There was a bit of improvement, actually quite a bit of improvement across the board. Didn't reflect in the score, unfortunately, but there was definitely improvement. My concern is we've got a quarterback that's definitely making progress. How are you going to keep him alive through the end of the season? What are we going to be doing with the offensive line to protect this kid?
Well, it's just like I mentioned, there's certain areas that need our focus and need our attention. And it begins on third down, and it starts up front with our pass protection. And we're working really hard to make sure that we shore up any issues that we've had, because there have been some issues, whether it be a mental error or a fundamental or technique issue. We've got to get that cleaned up, because if you're going to have success on third down, which we need to have more of, it starts with protecting the quarterback and giving him an opportunity to at least deliver the ball. And then it's also the routes. We've got to be able to get open and win in some one-on-one situations when the protection is there. But it all starts up front, and it is some of it's on the quarterback too. Now the quarterback's got to get rid of the ball on time. There's sometimes he goes through and holds the ball too long, and eventually protection does break down. And so there's a lot of pieces to it that have to get better. But that's our focus, and that's what we're working really hard on right now to try to get done.
Okay, because obviously we all have a concern when we see him on his back far too often.
Well, I'm part of that concerned group, so we're working hard to make sure that doesn't happen.
Follow-up question on the defense, because I'm actually more of a defense person than I am an offense person. I'm just very concerned with why we're giving up so much yardage. At this point, almost the halfway point in the season, it doesn't seem to be a lot of improvement.
Yeah, well, explosive plays are an issue. And when you give up explosive plays, overall, the defense doesn't look very good. We played 82 snaps against Indiana on defense, which is way too many. And a lot of it is because we couldn't get off the field on third down. And it was because of our own issues with either a penalty, or we lost contain on a blitz, or somebody didn't drop right in a zone when we played zone coverage. We have to clean those things up. And when we cut down the number of reps that we're playing because we improve our third down, then the defense will look a lot better. We have a lot of really good snaps that we play, but it may be the 6 or 7 really bad ones that we give up that make the big picture look bad. We're not that far off from being pretty good, but until you clean up those 6, I can sit here and keep talking about the 6 or 7 plays that we have that are bad, but until we get it stopped, it's going to continue to look bad. And I don't disagree with you. I'm a defensive coach. The defense needs to play better. We need to coach better. We need to execute better. But we're only, like I said, 5, 6, 7 plays away in a game in the last few weeks to making it look a lot better. But we got to get that stopped.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Appreciate it, Marie.
Hey, Coach, I want to actually go back to the offensive side where you were talking about and holding the ball too long. How do you, I guess, teach a young quarterback to sometimes live to see another day and actually, throw the ball away instead of, trying to make that play? I know he's a young guy, so he wants to go out there and make every pass, but sometimes you have to live to see another day and throw the ball away.
Yeah, I've never coached a quarterback, so I don't have, the best answer for you other than the fact, it's being coached on what to do with the football. And sometimes the more you get hit, the more you realize I better get rid of this thing, and it's a learning process. So there's a lot that goes into it. There's progressions in his reads that he has to trust and deliver the ball on time, and then understand if there's nothing there, he's got to make a decision and do it either by pulling it down and scrambling or getting rid of it, whatever he's got to do.
And the hits that he did take, I know John talked about it the other day that he's really shown an awful lot of toughness.
He has. He's a big kid, 6'4", 230 pounds, something like that. So he can take a hit, and he's proven that so far here this year. But let's be honest, guys. If you don't want a quarterback to get a hit, don't play quarterback.
Yeah.
That's reality. I mean, look at the NFL. Quarterbacks get sacked. That's what defensive guys get paid to do too. So there's never going to be a game where a quarterback doesn't get hit. I mean, there might be some, but there's very few. I don't care what the level is where a quarterback doesn't get hit. That's part of the game.
Coach, when we talk about getting your team ready for a game like this week with Illinois, we'll talk more about the individual matchups itself later on. How much do you go back and draw back on what you did successfully against them last year? I know personnel is always going to be a little bit different, but how much do you review what you did a year ago when you had success against them versus now? And I know there's also other mitigating circumstances too.
Yeah, well, offensively, they can look at it and probably get a little bit more out of it because it's the same defensive structure with Illinois. And, I thought we did a really good job up front on both sides of the ball in that game last year to run the football and stop the run the way we did. Defensively, looking at their offense, it's a completely different scheme, a different approach, so we don't go back and look a whole lot. Have gone back and looked at some of the individual matchups, our D-line versus O-line, the guys that will be going against each other, and some of the wideouts and DBs. But from a scheme standpoint, there's really nothing to take from it.
I always found it interesting as the games get more and more into the season, there's more and more film to watch on a team and more wrinkles that they put in. How do you guys adjust as a staff being able to break down, more games, having to watch more games? You start off the season, you got 1 game, 2 games, 3 games, but as you start getting going, you got 3, 4, 5, 6 more games in the package now to look at. How does that go as a staff?
Earlier mornings and later nights. You got to find a way to get it done, and it does get more challenging as you go. The other thing you got to be careful of, though, that there's so many plays, you watch too much, and it's paralysis by analysis, and you can't do that to yourself. So we typically are looking at about 5 games for the opponent.
How do you find that balance as a coach when you want to? Obviously, you're doing everything you can to prepare your team, but at the same time, you don't want to put yourself in a state where, all right, it's too much right now.
Yeah, there is a fine line there. It is tough. I mean, you just got to major in the majors and not in the minors, the 1-hitters, the 2-hitters, or something they did 5 games ago only once. And it's your rules. It's the rules. Defensively speaking, the rules of your front, your coverages that should carry you through the things that you may not have gotten a lot of reps at or you haven't seen. Same thing offensively, but. You can't overanalyze and you can get bogged down in the what ifs a lot as you're getting ready for a team. But I like to look at the major things. What are the must that we have to stop and defend, and then go from there.
And also, how much do you look into what other teams did to attack another team, and how much you put that into your game plan?
Yeah, a lot, especially similar style of defenses. And then situational football, third down, if there's a pressure or a look that they've really struggled with, well, yeah, we're going to put it in and see if they got it fixed. You do that quite a bit. Your base defense is your base defense, and you want to try to find, a video that is very similar to what you do so you can see how they're going to block, how they're going to protect, how they're going to attack it, and all that sort of thing. But the situational football, I think you can get a lot out of because there are just certain things that people may struggle with.
In just a moment, we'll be joined by your offensive line, one of your captains, and Jonah Jackson. Tell me about this young man and how you would describe his impact on your program.
Well, when we talk about things that we want in our players, just smart, tough, and dependable, that's Jonah, and that's why he's become a captain. He's a starter. He's a captain. He's moved from center to right guard. He's selfless. He's going to do whatever he can to help the football team because he was a pretty good center, and but he's made the move because that's what's best for our football team. And, he's been a leader on and off the field. He's done a great job in the weight room. He takes care of his academics. He makes good decisions. He helps others around him be better. And I can't say enough good things about what Jonah has become, here in his junior year, and just looking forward for him to continue that and help us build.
All right, well, he's going to join us in just a moment. We are at Quaker Steak and Lube in Edison on Route 1 for this week's edition of the Chris Ash Show, live on RVision, on Facebook Live, and, of course, on 1450 AM WCTC in New Brunswick. We'll take a time out. Jonah Jackson will join us next. You're listening to the Chris Ash Show.
Need a place to watch all the pro games? Look no further than Quaker Steak and Lube. Best Wings USA on Route 1 in Edison. 50 TVs, great game day specials starting at just $2.50, and the best wings in the USA with over 25 different wing sauces. Enjoy our outdoor patio and bar open all year round. On the way to the game and need something to go? Give us a call, 732-777-WING. We cater events of any size. Watch all the games, have a great time, and enjoy the best wings in the USA. 561 Route 1 in Edison. 732-777-WING.
When you think sports, think McGettigan's, the official watch party location for Rutgers football in the premier Irish bar in New York City. Enjoy our watch party specials with $10 buckets of wings and $5 Coors Light beer buckets, and great weekly specials such as Beer and Burger Mondays, Taco Tuesdays, and Ladies Night on Wednesdays. Located at 70 West 36th Street in Midtown Manhattan, McGettigan's is close to some of the city's most iconic landmarks, such as the Empire State Building and Madison Square Garden. So when you think sports, think McGettigan's.
The Chris Ash Show returns after this local timeout. This is the Rutgers IMG Sports Network.
When we take care of our own hearts, we're also taking care of the people closest to us. So it's comforting to know that RWJ Barnabas Health has New Jersey's most comprehensive cardiac care program, with access to top specialists, minimally invasive heart surgery options, and rehabilitation and wellness programs. So get your heart checked. It's as easy as visiting rwjbh.org/heart. RWJ Barnabas Health. Let's be healthy together.
Best tailgate? It's gotta be burgers. And an ice cold Coke.
Real football y pollo asado.
Hoops and wings. Dude, subs.
Nah, hot dog.
No, Dodger dog.
I'll drink to that. Pass me a Coke. It's gotta be crawfish.
Mac and cheese. No. 7-layer dip. Ribs. No contest.
Hummus.
What?
You need a hot grill.
An ice cold Coke.
Of course.
Football and Coke. Come on.
It's got to be Coke.
Game day? Race day.
Calls for Coke.
You know it.
It's Tailgating 101.
All right, we have returned for the Chris Ash Show in our second half hour as Rutgers gets set to take on Illinois this week. And redshirt junior offensive lineman from Media, Pennsylvania at Pencrest High School, he is Jonah Jackson, who joins myself and Eric LeGrand. Jonah, how are you, man?
I'm wonderful. I'm excited for the radio show and excited to get it going.
Appreciate you coming down here.
Yeah, awesome, man. We're glad to have you, man.
Of course.
All right, so let's talk about you first of all a little bit, kind of your journey to get here, growing up outside Philly. You were just telling us that you were actually a lacrosse player as well.
Yeah, a little something. That was one of the few sports I played growing up, but that was definitely one of the sports I probably stayed in the longest besides football. So yeah, I enjoy that sport.
But it was football. Was football always number one for you?
Oh yeah, growing up, it was number one. It was instilled in me the day I could even remember. So.
I was going to ask you, was it putting you by your family, or is it something that you have with your friends? Because with me, I actually started with playing kill a man with the ball on the side of the house. That's how I got into football. So, but was it like from your family, or was it like just like running over people?
Yeah, we started it. Well, we called it Rumble Fumble.
Rumble Fumble. Okay.
Fumble, we started with that, and then that's how I got it all going. And then once I was old enough to start Little League, then I got into that, and from there we went.
So when you were young, were you always playing offensive line? Were you always playing on the lines? Where were you playing?
Actually, I wasn't always offensive lineman. I actually started as center. I remember flag football, I was a center. But then after that, I was fullback and middle linebacker. And then I played a little corner, 8th grade.
All right, so if you're playing, so you didn't have any weight on you at that point. Because I'm still bitter over the fact that in 7th and 8th grade when I played, I was well over that 135-pound weight limit of being able to carry the football. That was not a problem for you.
I definitely wasn't skinny. I was just a great press corner, so they wanted me in there right there. So I could jam the guy at the line and hold him.
So basically, if they asked you to do it today, you'd do it in a heartbeat.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
All right, Jonah. So, offensive line, you guys are my biggest enemy being a defensive line, but you guys always found you guys very interesting. There's always something interesting about being an offensive line. You guys are just different.
Yeah.
Who would you say is the most interesting offensive lineman on the team? Who's got just that different character?
We have let me tell you something. We have a cast of characters at Rutgers. Great men. But my roommate, Zach Vineski, he's probably the most interesting.
Really?
Oh, man, he's nuts.
Yeah, he's an awesome guy. Nicest guy you've ever met in your life. He will do anything for you, but he's one of the funniest people. He will make you laugh when you're down, and he will really bring your spirits up if you're ever having a bad day.
I have only met him once, and it was when we record these little liners of just you guys saying, this is Jonah Jackson, and you're listening to Rutgers football, and he could not do it straight if he tried. Like, he started screaming, brother, like Hulk Hogan.
Brother.
He was doing all this kind of stuff. I couldn't get it. Can you please just do it straight? Because I can't play the one of you saying brother.
Yeah, he's going to get that trademark, and he's going to be famous for that one day, I think.
See, we had a guy when I was playing here, his name was Caleb Ruck, who used to eat bugs, like stuff like that. Like if he he slapped a fly out of his hand and he killed it, he would just eat it in front of me. I'm like, that's what I'm saying. It's different.
What are we doing?
The O-line is a cast of characters. They're very interesting. Great people, though. Great people.
All right, so tell me a little bit about your experience here at Rutgers as a student athlete, Jonah. What it's been like over the last few years, because this is your 4th year here in the program. Take me through when you first got here and what your development's been like, especially since Coach Ash got here.
It's been the fastest 4 years of my life, probably, and it's kind of like sad to see the end come near, but it's very awesome to see how far I've come as a young man. And the development from the day I came in here, I was a long-haired goofball, and I wasn't really ready to play, you know what I mean? Like, my body wasn't there, but to see the development I had not only in the weight room, but in the classroom, I'm on schedule to go to grad school. Like, that's something like I could have never imagined before I came into college, and it's awesome, for sure.
That's all. And as now an older guy coming in with a young freshman quarterback, what has Art been like with leadership with you guys, and how have you guys now trusted him with the reins?
Yeah, I told like reporters this before. It was crazy to see Art in the first time in the huddle because how well he handled it. He's a grown man for 18, 19-year-old freshman that just came in, and he handles himself like a 5th-year senior. He's a grown man in the huddle. So,
what did it mean to you earlier this year when you got voted captain?
It was awesome. Coming out of high school, I wasn't my team captain, and coming into college, being held to such a high regard by 108 people is something that's astonishing, and I feel very blessed to be in this position and to lead a great football team.
I was as your leadership role. Are you more of a vocal guy, or are you more are you out there and show what you play on what you do?
I seem like I'm very vocal. I seem very outgoing, but like I don't know. When it comes to game time, I'm locked in. I'm kind of like calm, cool, and to myself a little bit. But I feel like I lead by my play. I feel like I'm pretty aggressive and nasty on the field, and I feel like that helps rub off on people during the game.
Take me through kind of your own personal pregame routine. because it's always different for different players, whether it's music they want to do, whether they're going to walk around the field, do all that kind of stuff when you first get there. What do you do? What are your, the things that you do, superstitions, anything like that?
My pregame routine usually just consists of listening to music, some rap, some chill music. I don't even know what music I listen to. I just scroll through YouTube and find random stuff, but then just usually locked in, text my parents, text my family, I love them, and nothing too crazy. Just keep it simple and keep my mind right.
Well, there's one thing that stuck out to me that you just said, and a lot of people don't realize that when you play the offensive line, you need that nastiness and stuff like that. How do you try to make that kind of rub off to other guys, too, knowing that you have to have that grit when you go out there, because it's not a glorifying position, and I respect what you guys do. Like I said, I don't like you guys, but I respect what you do, and I respect the nastiness. So can you talk about how you try to, teach that, let that rub upon some of the younger guys too?
Just being excited after somebody makes a great block. If you see it, being me, if I make a great block, you know what I'm saying? I'm hyped, I'm patting guys on the back, pushing them around, let's go. And I think that's been a good factor in helping people get hype and be more nastier in their blocks for sure.
Rutgers offensive lineman Jonah Jackson joining us on this week's edition of the Chris Ash Show. What are you doing off the field? What are the things that you like to do with your spare time?
I like to hang out with my buddies, my teammates, my girlfriend, and I'm a big Fortnite guy.
I was gonna ask that question because there seems to be a split. I've asked Fortnite or Netflix, and a couple of weeks ago when Isaiah and Saquon were here, they were both Netflix guys. So you're a big Fortnite guy.
I'm a big gamer. I'm a big Fortnite guy. It's something that me and my buddy Nakia Griffin.
Yeah, Nakia Griffin Stewart's here as well with you. You guys play a ton?
Yeah, if I didn't have football, I'd probably live on my Xbox playing Fortnite. I'm kidding. But it's something we like to do on our free time for sure.
See, back when I was a guy, it was Call of Duty. Now it's the Fortnite game. But Call of Duty seems to have left. But I want to ask you, as an offensive lineman, what's your favorite place to eat on campus, man?
My favorite, it's not on campus. It's 15 minutes away.
Okay, the hidden spot.
It's Sushi Palace in Somerville. All you can eat for $20. And you can ask the kid about it. Unbelievable.
Come
really?
on, man. Yeah. I thought we were going to get some steak or something. Sushi.
Well, I'm a big sushi guy. They have everything. They got ice cream. They got tempura. They got all different flavors. They got the Edison roll. The Edison roll, I'm telling you, if you go there, order the Edison roll, you'll be like, wow.
All right, what about late night, though?
Late night?
Yeah, I mean, offensive linemen, you got to make sure you keep the weight on.
I'm probably a PJ's Pizza guy. Okay. It's right behind my house on Easton. I get a slice of chicken bacon ranch, or I get a fat sandwich, something of that sort, in Arizona or something like that. When I'm feeling all right.
Now you're talking about language now.
Yeah.
Now, and you're also, I'm told, somebody that likes to cook a lot yourself. So what's the specialty?
I could cook anything, honestly. I'm very confident in my cooking ability.
Clearly.
I'm kidding.
You really haven't been not confident in any of your abilities so far.
I'm kidding. But I'd say my specialty is definitely breakfast.
Okay.
I've cooked for the offensive line. I've cooked for running back for the Giants now, Robert Martin.
Yep.
And they boast about it. They say it might be better than their mother's cooking.
All right, so what are you cooking in the morning? What's the go-to?
Well, I asked everybody, I said, you want over easy, over medium, scrambled, how do you want it, fried egg, whatever. I get a big tray of it, sort it out, and I get muffins. I cut them in half. I butter them up, put them on the skillet. I get sausage rounds. I get bacon. I get toast. We get the orange juice. We get apple juice, whatever you want.
Wow.
So that's what I mean. Offensive linemen are interesting. They do still cooking for the house and stuff like that.
It's the real deal. If you want to come over and eat some breakfast, let me know. I got you.
Now, would you ever consider cooking professionally?
I don't know about professionally, but I've talked to my buddy Tariq. We were saying we'd open up a little bake shop type restaurant.
I know,
deal.
yeah, I've heard that too about Tariq. Yeah,
he's a big baker, so if I got my little savory food side going into it, I feel like we'd be pretty successful with that. So
yeah,
it's something in the future we're going to be working on.
I like it.
I want to know who else do you really, I guess, get to bond with on the team? Like, who's your main crew that you get to hang out? I see Nakia Griffin Stewart's here.
My main crew. I mean, I'm cool with just about everybody. Yeah. But my roommates I live with Nakia, Max Anthony, Zach Vaneski, Mike Maetti, and Mike Lonsdorf. And just about the whole offense, I mean, we're all pretty tight. We all usually come over to my house sometimes to hang out. And I'm cool with the defensive side of the ball, especially the D linemen, the DBs, the linebackers. And I wouldn't say I don't have a good relationship with everybody on the team.
One thing I want to ask you about Mike Maetti. So last year he started to get some play at center. Coach was talking about you being a setter by trade, really, when you got here, if I'm not mistaken, and you've shifted over now to right guard. Tell me about, first of all, that change for you and how maybe you're able to help Mike in his development as well.
The change for me wasn't anything too crazy, but to help Mike, I mean, honestly, I didn't really need to help him. He got it.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a smart dude. He's laser focused when it comes to game time and practice, and I feel like he helps me sometimes. You know what I mean? It's like a back and forth thing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So he's another guy that came in as a young guy who was ready to go from the get. So I'm very confident in Mike and feel very comfortable next to him.
Yeah, everyone knows on offensive line they say it's 5 guys working as one. You know, one guy messes up and it ruins everything. How is that now when you have different guys that have to switch in and come in? You know, somebody goes down, then you have somebody else come in, or somebody gets pulled, and another guy comes in. How is that trying to work all together as one so you can be on one heartbeat pretty much?
Well, having Coach Blazik and Coach McNulty, and especially Coach Blazik, I mean, he has us greased up for everything. He has everybody ready. He has the scout team guys, like the young bucks who are redshirt and ready for the possible situation if, God forbid, the whole team went down. They had to step in and had to do that. But I definitely feel confident in his ability to get us ready for the game.
And then just lastly, this week, you got the blackout game. Have you seen the black uniforms?
I have.
How are you feeling about them?
I'm very excited. I didn't get to wear the ones last year, so I'm excited to wear them this year.
All right.
Let them know the black uniforms make you look slender, too, right?
I know, right?
Very slender.
The white ones make me look like a little stuffed sausage a little bit, but other than that, I look good.
Jonah, thanks so much for coming down and joining us.
Of course. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate
Absolutely.
it.
Rutgers right guard Jonah Jackson with us on the Chris Ash Show. We'll take a timeout. The head coach will rejoin us in a moment here at Quaker Steak and Lube in Edison. We'll be right back on the Chris Ash Show.
At Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, caring is more than a job. It's our responsibility as a business leader and as citizens of this state. Through the Horizon Foundation for New Jersey, we're committed to working alongside those who share our goals. We're caring for our neighbors by supporting programs that help them manage important health issues. We're connecting people with health education that's easier to understand and accessible to all members of our diverse communities. We're creating inspiration by supporting arts and cultural programs that entertain, illuminate, and enrich the lives of our citizens. By sharing our time and resources, we aim to be not only a better company, but a better member of the communities where we work and live. Visit us at community.horizonblue.com and learn more about how the Horizon Foundation for New Jersey is working to support organizations that make New Jersey healthier.
The Chris Ash Show returns after this local timeout. This is the Rutgers IMG Sports Network.
Need a place to watch all the pro games? Look no further than Quaker Steak and Lube, Best Wings USA on Route 1 in Edison. 50 TVs, great game day specials starting at just $2.50, and the best wings in the USA with over 25 different wing sauces. Enjoy our outdoor patio and bar open all year round. On the way to the game and need something to go? Give us a call, 732-777-WING. We cater events of any size. Watch all the games, have a great time, and enjoy the best wings in the USA. 561 Route 1 in Edison, 732-777-WING.
When you think sports, think McGettigan's, the official watch party location for Rutgers football in the premier Irish bar in New York City. Enjoy our watch party specials with $10 buckets of wings and $5 Coors Light beer buckets, and great weekly specials such as Beer and Burger Mondays, Taco Tuesdays, and Ladies Night on Wednesdays. Located at 70 West 36th Street in Midtown Manhattan, McGettigan's is close to some of the city's most iconic landmarks, such as the Empire State Building and Madison Square Garden. So when you think sports, think McGettigan's.
All right, we are back at Quaker Steak and Lube here in Edison for the Chris Ash Show. Rutgers taking on Illinois this coming week, and boy, Jonah's entertaining. And as Eric said, offensive linemen, they are a little bit different, aren't they?
You know, I'm going to agree with him on one thing. Zach Vineski is definitely the character of not only the group but the team. So he's a different individual. The other thing, you know, you were a college football player, so Jonah's sitting up here talking about places to eat, and he's talking about sushi. Remember when you were a college student athlete? Could you even afford that?
See, I know. Talk about sushi.
$20 is a fortune.
$20. But I remember I used to
talking
fill
about
my
going to
gas
eat
tank. $30. My heart sunk in my. I know. He's living good now.
Oh, I know. These guys, they're spoiled. You know, cost of attendance, scholarship, food, you know, all that stuff. So,
but Coach, you're a defensive guy. You can't tell me how offensive linemen, when they get you on the ground, they lay on you, they push off you trying to get up. You can't tell me that there's something about them that bothers you as a defensive guy.
Well, you know, as a head coach, that's what you want.
Of
you know,
course.
you want a nasty offensive line. You know that. You know, so we got something happening here.
Judge just bombed the home run for me, man.
Jonah, I forget about Jonah. Let's talk about the game now. But no, you want a nasty offensive line. You want guys that will do exactly, you know, like you said, lay on guys and knee them a little bit, and you know, give them the business while they're down there.
Yeah, it's funny. You know, you ask an offensive coach, like as long as it's your guy, you ask an offensive coach about a play. Yeah, that was a rub play. If you ask a defensive coach, it was a pick play.
Illegal. Yeah. But I do have a lot of respect for nasty offensive linemen. And you know, Jonah's one of those guys that plays the game the way it needs to be played, and he does it clean. But he's a nasty kid, you know, when he needs to be. So we really appreciate that.
The black uniforms this week, kids are fired up for them. Your design with the helmet, I know Pat Hobbs has talked about this a lot. The black helmets with the state of New Jersey and red on the side, pretty neat looking.
Yeah, you know, we've had a lot of discussions about that. You know, in this day and age, players really like, you know, some of the alternative uniforms that you get a chance to wear throughout the year. And this is a special one. You know, we put a lot into it, and in the off season, we have a lot of conversations about how to continue to make it better. And I think the helmet, I really like it, and I think it is something that fans will appreciate and like too.
I think it's fantastic. I saw it the other day.
Yeah, I was going to say, how do you come up with that? Is it more working with the equipment manager, or is it working with Adidas? But those things are sharp.
Yeah, it's really, you know, Stephen Hale, our equipment guy, is great. He's on top of a lot of those things, and I just you know, talk to him about, hey, come up with some ideas and let's you know, throw some stuff together and see what looks good. And you know, that was one of the ideas, and it looked great. And you know, we're going to put it on Saturday and see if it helps us get a victory.
All right, we'll take a timeout, one more break, and we'll talk a little bit more about that matchup with the Illini next. It is the Chris Ash Show.
Traffic. It can be more stressful than that last-second Hail Mary pass, but Nissan changed the game. Nissan Rogue has available Nissan Intelligent Mobility, like ProPilot Assist, that can start and stop in highway traffic all on its own and help keep you centered. Nissan Rogue, it's a game changer. Get to Nissan, proud supporter of college athletics. ProPilot Assist is an available feature and cannot prevent collisions. Always monitor traffic conditions. Keep both hands on the steering wheel. See owner's manual for safety information.
Need a place to watch all the pro games? Look no further than Quaker Steak and Lube. Best Wings USA on Route 1 in Edison. 50 TVs, great game day specials starting at just $2.50, and the best wings in the USA with over 25 different wing sauces. Enjoy our outdoor patio and bar open all year round. On the way to the game and need something to go? Give us a call, 732-777-WING. We cater events of any size. Watch all the games, have a great time, and enjoy the best wings in the USA. 561 Route 1 in Edison. 732-777-WING.
The Chris Ash Show returns after this local timeout. This is the Rutgers IMG Sports Network.
At Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, caring is more than a job. It's our responsibility as a business leader and as citizens of this state. Through the Horizon Foundation for New Jersey, we're committed to working alongside those who share our goals. We're caring for our neighbors by supporting programs that help them manage important health issues. We're connecting people with health education that's easier to understand and accessible to all members of our diverse communities. We're creating inspiration by supporting arts and cultural programs that entertain, illuminate, and enrich the lives of our citizens. By sharing our time and resources, we aim to be not only a better company, but a better member of the communities where we work and live. Visit us at community.horizonblue.com and learn more about how the Horizon Foundation for New Jersey is working to support organizations that make New Jersey healthier.
Back at Quaker Steak and Lube, couple of minutes left for this week's edition of the Chris Ash Show. That was a 2-run homer, Eric?
2-run homer on 427 feet by my man Judge.
All right. Good enough. 2-0 Yankees.
I thought you'd show up with a jersey on tonight.
Yeah, I'm going home. I'm going to be screaming at my TV for the rest of the night.
I swore I was going to get a phone call or a text today. Chris, I'm not feeling that good.
I got confidence in my team to make it to the next round, and then maybe
Maybe you'll skip one then.
No, you won't. Listen, so, Coach, with Illinois, tell us a little bit about Lovie Smith's team this year and what you've seen.
Yeah, they're a much improved football team. They've got a couple wins. Offensively, they got a new offensive coordinator, different style, athletic quarterback. Really try to run the football right now. Defensively, it's the same Lovie Smith defense that he's been running for years in the NFL and at Illinois, based on just effort and fundamentals. A lot of man-to-man, a lot of cover two, and it's a good game. It's a matchup game. It's one that both of teams feel right now that they need to win. And best team that plays the best on Saturday will get the victory.
Is it the Tampa 2 type defense? Is
Yeah.
that what it is?
Yeah.
So explain to people that don't know what that is exactly.
Well, there's a style of cover two that started years and years ago when Monty Kiffin was at Tampa Bay and as a defensive coordinator, and Lovie Smith was on that staff. And they ran a particular style of cover two that was unique, with the Mike linebacker running down the middle of the field between the two safeties. And it became widely known as Tampa 2. There's cover 2 and there's Tampa 2, which is different. And it depends on the drops of the underneath zone defenders. And Lovie was one of the originators of that Tampa 2 system. And when he was in Tampa Bay, and he's taken it with him when he was a defensive coordinator and a head coach in Chicago, and he's taken it with him to Illinois too.
I remember last year, Coach, they had a lot of young guys on their team as well. I mean, kind of what you're doing, rebuilding them with a lot of the young guys playing. How would you say you see the development on them now on the film and things like that? Understanding what they're preaching on the defensive side and now, and with a new offensive coordinator as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of similarities. They played a lot of young players last year, and we're kind of in that situation this year. And when you look at some of the guys that played for them last year as true freshmen, they're definitely better this year. They're bigger. Their bodies have changed. They're playing faster, not with the same hesitation that they might have, in their first year. And that's where you see the player development, the growth, and the difference between guys that played last year for them as a true freshman and what they're doing now in their second year.
All right, Coach, give us a couple of keys here. What you're looking for your team to get their first conference win of the year.
Well, it still goes back to us, and it goes back to our process, our fundamentals, our execution. Illinois, we need to know what they do on offense and defense, but we've got to clean up our stuff. Our penalties, our mental errors. We got to get that fixed. Our execution, especially on third down, and that's really been our focus. That's been our attention. We've made some changes to our practice schedules to try to reflect that. Today, third down was one of the first things we did. We did a lot of good on good today with third downs to get the speed of the game in practice that we need. So it's about us, and we've got to protect the football. We got to run the ball. We got to stop the run. It's a lot of the same things that we do each week, but we can't beat ourselves, and that's the focus.
Any message for the fans for the blackout, Coach?
Show up in your black gear and come cheer on this team. This team needs it. This is a young football team. We've got a great group of seniors that, again, the whole team continues to work really hard. I think it was mentioned already. We showed a lot of improvement last week. It's because we executed better. We need to continue that, but we want the fans to come out and support this football team and help us get a victory.
Well, that is this Saturday at 12 noon. Coach, best of luck this week.
Yeah, thank you. I just want to thank all the people that continue to show up every Wednesday. Appreciate your guys' support and energy and love for the Scarlet Knights, so keep it up. Appreciate it.
Do a tremendous job. They are here week in and week out, and we do really appreciate having you here. Time now for our upcoming Rutgers athletic events for you, presented by MGM Resorts. We've got a lot of action this weekend. Rutgers women's volleyball taking on Ohio State 7 p.m. Friday, and Maryland at 7 p.m. on Saturday. Big thanks to MGM Resorts for sponsoring our upcoming events. As a proud sponsor of Rutgers Athletics, MGM Resorts invites you to join Pat McGinn live on October 5th at the Borgata. Visit theborgata.com to see all the entertainment experiences MGM Resorts has to offer. Want to thank on our Rutgers Sports Information staff, Hasim Phillips and Bradley Duralio. Is that close? Ballpark? Fair enough. Got it. Okay. I'll get it right next week or soon or this year sometime, I promise. Also from RVision, our guy Tim DeMartin, and of course Colin Osborne doing a terrific job, and our producer engineer this week, Danny Ginsberg, filling in for Paul Schrager. Again, 12 noon Saturday. It is the blackout game. Get there early. Wear your black gear. Rutgers looking for their first conference win of the season. They take on Illinois. The game will be on BTN and, of course, on the Rutgers IMG Sports Network. Looking forward to seeing you on the banks this coming Saturday. It's the Scarlet Knights and Illinois. For Eric LeGrand and the coach Chris Ash, this is Chris Garland speaking. Have a great week, everybody. We'll see you next week on the Chris Ash Show.
You've been listening to the Chris Ash Show on the Rutgers IMG Sports Network. Join us throughout the season from Quaker Steak and Lube on US 1 in Edison to hear from the head football coach of the Scarlet Knights. The Chris Ash Show has been brought to you by The Chris Ash Show is an exclusive presentation of IMG, America's home for college sports.